I mean, can you imagine these people? For years and years, it's been anarchy in Portland, for years and years. But not for the Republicans. This is why you cannot have the Democrats and that whole philosophy, that whole craziness. You cannot have them involved in running your country. We invested $2.5 trillion in the U.S. military, including funding to save Tyndall Air Force Base. Who knows Tyndall? Who is, okay, well, not that big a group. That's not like a big group. I can tell you, if you were in the Panhandle, you'd be saying, thank you very much. It was wiped out by the hurricane, and Ron called, and a number of people called, and Marco called, Rick Scott called. They all called. They wanted to save Tyndall, and we did it, and now it's brand new, gorgeous, and really moving along well, right? We did a good job there? I think so. We launched the first new branch of the U.S. Armed Forces in nearly 75 years called Space Force. Very important. You know, for an administration, if you think of it, so not for 75 years, we've created a new force, right? The Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. I mean, think of it, Coast Guard. And now, we just created a new force, first time in 75 years. If I did nothing but that, that's a big deal. And that's peanuts. That's peanuts. Because we built the greatest economy in history. We cut taxes more than any other president by far in history. We cut regulations, which I think is maybe just as important as the taxes. That's why our businesses are roaring back. We've done things that nobody else has done. Nobody else has. And these people back here, they don't even challenge me on it, which is shocking. Usually you think they'd challenge you, even if they're wrong. I also brought back NASA, the greatest space center again in the world. And we passed VA choice and VA accountability for our great vets. Right? And we just got a 91% approval rating, Ron. 91% approval rating by the vets on the way we're running it. Never happened before. That's never happened before, Rick. Never happened before. We killed the leader of ISIS who was trying to reform ISIS because we blew it into oblivion. We killed al-Baghdadi. They were looking for him for years and years and years. Guess who got him? We took out the world's #1 terrorist. And the mass murder of American troops and many, many people all over the world, Qasem Soleimani, he's dead, gone. I withdrew from the last administration's disastrous Iran nuclear deal, which was a catastrophe. President Obama, give us $150 billion and we'll give you nothing. Give us $1.8 billion in green, in cash. He gave him $1.8 billion in cash. That's when I realized how powerful the presidency is, when you can do that. What a horrible deal. But we broke the deal, and I'll tell you, probably the first call I'll get after we win the election will be from Iran, dying to make a deal because they're down 28% GDP. Nobody has ever heard of a thing like that. That'll be the first call I get. They cannot have a nuclear weapon. I kept my promise, recognized the true capital of Israel, and opened the American embassy in Jerusalem. And every president promised to do it. Every president said they were going to do that for many, many decades. They all were going to do that. Nobody did it because once they got in office, there was a lot of pressure on you not to do it. I could tell you I was called by every foreign leader, please don't do it, please don't do it. I told the story. I said, listen, tell them I'll call them back in a couple of days. Then I did it. I called them back. Hey, what's up? I also recognized Israeli sovereignty over the Golan Heights. 52 years they've been working on that. They've been working on that for 52 years. They couldn't get anything. Every year people would fly in, stay, wine, dine, have a good time, and leave. Nothing would happen. 52 years, I got it done in one day. And instead of these endless wars, we're forging peace in the Middle East and peace without blood all over the sand, and you see what's happening. In fact, a point that they didn't report, I've been, I guess, 3 or 4 maybe now, Nobel Peace Prizes. Can you believe it? 4, 3. I told the story. I told my wife, oh, we're going to have a great time. We're going to watch television. I just got nominated for the Nobel Prize. And then I turned on the fake news, story after story. They talk about your weather in the Panhandle run. They talk about this. They talk story after story, no mention. Remember when Obama got it right at the beginning and he didn't even know why he got it? It was the biggest story you've ever seen. The last administration made a pathetic one-sided deal with the Castro dictatorship that betrayed the Cuban people and enriched the communist regime. They're not enriched any longer. My opponent stands with socialists and communists. He wants to give everything away to Cuba. He wants to give it away to Nicaragua and Venezuela. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. I stand with the people of Cuba and Nicaragua and Venezuela in their righteous struggle for freedom. The last administration also negotiated the terrible Obama-Biden-Santos deal with Colombian drug cartels. They surrendered the narco-terrorists. They surrendered, totally gave up to them. And that caused illicit drugs all over this country. Joe Biden even received the endorsement of Columbian socialist Gustavo Petro, a former member of the M19 guerrilla organization, and he took it because you know why? He didn't know who the hell it was. He said, I'll take it. I'll take whoever. He said, no, he's a bad guy, Joe. He's actually a bad guy. Under my administration, we worked with Colombian officials to seize or disrupt 227 metric tons of poisonous narcotics since April. And we're doing fantastically in terms of bringing it down. 19% reduction. My heart will always be with the Colombian people and the people from Cuba and the people from Venezuela and Nicaragua and all of the people that are so unfairly treated. And you'll see a lot of great things happen. I did more in 47 months than Joe Biden did in 47 years. It's true.